Hello out there, and it is retribution time today, guys, because in front of you right now is the knife that will be used in round 2 of the blind knife review. That's right, the first time I failed. I didn't do a very good job at all. I thought that aluminum scales were wood. But this time I have a chance to make it all right, and hopefully, if I can't guess the knife itself, at least know enough about it just by the feel and the action to be able to give a decent evaluation. That's the goal here in the blind knife review, is to get an idea of what the knife is without actually seeing it. So this knife is packaged up. It doesn't have the original packaging like it did last time around, so it will be even harder for some people to guess. The last one was a real steel, and I wasn't all that familiar with real steel, so the packaging didn't help me. Wish it had. But it also came with this envelope. Don't open until the end or when you give up guessing. So I have no idea what's in here, and it's going to be fun. And if it's a brand that I'm really familiar with, I might have a shot at guessing it. But my hypothesis is that the people who put this together try to pick something a little bit obscure so that it's not a knife that everybody will be able to identify. I will link to Blade Banter down below, who is the guy who organizes this. In conjunction with a few other people, so that Blade Banter himself doesn't even know what the knife is. I think Jack Farmboy is in on it as well, so I'll link to him. And actually everybody who's involved in this pass around so that you can check out their videos, all right? But I'm going to head over to the table, and we are going to do this. All right, guys, it is go time. I've got the camera set up. Hopefully this works out. What I am going to do is just make a cut right here, just in order to facilitate getting the knife out so that I don't cut myself on camera the way someone might have done in the last round. Don't really want that to happen. Last time I did sort of try to do it through the holes here, but no, it's just not safe, and I'm not coordinated enough to make that happen. So, all right, let's get into it. Hopefully from here, you'll be able to hear me pretty well. And also, hopefully, yeah, I can get it out. All right, so here's the knife. I feel a flipper. Deep carry pocket clip. Back spacer. Action is really nice and snappy. Trying to hold the knife in a way that will give you guys a good look at it. So no real forward choil, a little bit of jimping on top. It feels pretty comfortable. As far as handle material, I probably will guess, but I'm not sure what it is. It feels like G10, but I guess it could be a couple of other things. The detent is pretty nice. Feels like we have clip screws for the other side, and I'm not sure if this is the maybe 4-position pocket clip, not 100% sure though. No holes or anything in the blade. But I do have to admit, I don't know what this knife is. A little bit disappointed. It's comfortable, but I haven't the slightest clue. I'm getting an idea of it in my head just by the tip of the knife and the lines of it and the way that it sweeps back. I mean, we do have the liner lock. Everything that I can think of at this point It says that it is something like maybe a Bestech or like the QSP that I just reviewed. It sort of feels like it's the same kind of style in that, like a G10, possibly something like that, and nice, probably on bearings flipper because it is pretty smooth. So, and I think we might have a cat interrupting, so that's awesome. But, man, I'm really bummed because I was hoping I'd be able to figure this one out. And I don't know how long I can, like, just keep this knife in my hands and, like, think about it. And I don't know, like, I don't know what further conclusions I'll be able to come to. The clip. Or maybe a Civivi. I don't know. But here's what I'm going to guess, guys. I'm going to guess that we have a mid-grade knife here, a like D2 steel potentially, or something else that is somewhat budget-friendly, running in like the $40 to $60 price range. All right. The blade feels like it's satin or stonewashed. All right, let's just call it a day. All right, so yeah, a curveball, Harns. All right, we're going to bring this back to the table and talk about it. So here we are with the Harns Talisman in front of us, and that is the knife. What was in the envelope was just a bunch of specs and information about the knife, and I'll just throw those on the screen right here for you, so yeah, you don't need to worry about all that. But yeah, guys, this is an interesting one. I like that they went with something a little obscure that some people might not know about, which was the case for me. I have never had a Harns knife before, didn't even know that this model existed, so the review aspect of this, it was a good opportunity, but unfortunately I sort of fell into the same thing that I did last time, where I just was trying so hard to identify the knife that I didn't actually review it. And I think I made some good points, and I was able to identify some aspects of it and give a good overall idea of the knife. But yeah, as far as a full review, yeah, I don't know what kind of information you got out of that. So let's talk about it a little bit right now. The Harns Talisman, again, this is my first introduction to this brand. This knife comes in at around like 29 to 35 bucks, I think, and it is in AUS 8 blade steel. And I will say I was correct just that this knife seems to be in the same vein as those Bestechs that are like budget style, or the Tuyas, or even like the Civivis and the cheaper Artisans. You know, it's the same kind of thing that we're going for, just a good user knife with pretty well built manufacturing and quality materials. And while a lot of those knives use D2 and this one is AUS 8, this runs a little bit cheaper than a lot of those knives. So I think there's a good, I don't know, a good compromise there. And this knife is pretty darn well built. I mean, I feel good about this knife. It is solid. There's a little bit of side to side here, but that can just be adjusted out. And, you know, who knows what's happened with this knife over the course of the pass around, and, you know, if people actually used it. I don't know any of that stuff, so, you know, really not too worried about it. But yeah, when you're looking at the jimping, it is executed nicely. This knife really thrives in the ergo department, for me at least. It's just super comfortable. I really like the G10. The piece of G10 that you have on this knife is actually, to me, preferable over a lot of those Bestechs, and maybe even the Civivi Backlash that I have. I just really like that like matte quality and that nice, not polished G10, and not like peel ply or anything with this like ridiculous kind of texture. Just a nice, solid, classy looking piece of G10 that isn't going to be slick, but also isn't going to carve up any pockets and will give you good grip while you're using the knife. So yeah, really happy with that. As we move on back, you can see we have these full liners. The lockup is, yeah, I mean, it's a thick liner, so it's pretty solid there. The action is nice. The centering is good. The detent is good. I did say in the video I thought that the clip might be reversible because I got this, I guess I got this lanyard hole confused as a screw hole. So it is not reversible, but it is deep carry and it is tip up. So it's good there. Yeah, I mean, this knife checks a lot of boxes. It doesn't in any way reinvent the wheel like a lot of other companies are doing stuff like this right now. But as far as budget beaters go, for 30 bucks, I mean, this is really upping the standard. You know, it's just part of that trend now of affordable knives that are really well put together. And every time I see a knife like this, whether it's, you know, from the Bestex or Civivi or now the Harns, you know, people always say, oh, well, you know, CRKT and Kershaw and the other budget knife companies, they have to be worried and they really have to keep up in order to, you know, keep pace with stuff like this. And I don't think we're in that situation yet. I think that, you know, CRKT and Kershaw, just with their notoriety, they're going to do well for a long time. And they are making some progress. But when you do have these smaller companies starting to make a name for themselves, over time, it does influence the entire marketplace. And while I think that, you know, CRKT and Kershaw are perfectly okay with doing what they're doing right now, I do think down the road, in say another 5 years time, that stuff like this is going to be the standard on everything. And, you know, there will be other innovations and other kinds of knives, sure, but it will influence the marketplace as people slowly start to, you know, discover brands like this and quality, well-built knives like this at a really cheap price point. So, yeah, pretty cool. Again, as always, I appreciate being part of the Blind Pass Around. I wish I had done a better job. I called this retribution. I do not feel like I followed through on that. But it was still a fun time, and yeah, definitely linking down to all the other guys involved in the description down below, so check them out. All right. Any other questions, comments, complaints, suggestions, let me know. I appreciate it, guys, and I'll talk with you soon. Have a good one.